So here's a rather interesting effect I saw on a movie poster just recently, and it's really ingeniously composited two images to make it look like it was one. In this case, it was a broken glass, as you see right here, and then they composited it. And in the movie poster, they actually composited it on a head, but I found this body to work pretty cool as well. But it demonstrates the technique in a very nice way. So, got the broken glass as a stock image, and here I have this man over here as another stock image. So we're going to take first our magic wand tool, since we're just going to make this a quick and dirty selection here. So I'm just going to click in the background area to select the overall shape of the man. Missed a little area at the bottom here. It's okay. Then I'm going to go under Select and choose Inverse. That's going to just select the man in the photo. Now I'm just going to go ahead and put that on its own layer by pressing Command or Control J. And you can see it's extracted it and is on its own layer. Now the background layer, I'm just going to go ahead and select that and just fill that with a color. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and do a gradient. And you can see that white is set as my foreground color here in the toolbar, and black is my background color. So with that, I'm just going to use the gradient tool. And we'll use the foreground to background gradient. I'm going to use the radial gradient right here. And to start toward the bottom and draw up. It's going to give me a good gradient along there. Now another thing I need to do, I can see already I need to do to the edges of this fellow I extracted here is select the layer and then go down to the very bottom of the layer menu and choose defringe. It does go off screen here a little bit. Trust me, it's there. Defringe, and then set that to around 3. And then it will clean up those edges. It's a very subtle change, but if you look real close, it'll clean up a lot of those little fringed edges there. All right. So now let's go ahead and bring in the glass that we're going to composite this with. So I'm going to jump over here and let's go ahead and just drag and drop this over. And I'm adding the shift key again, so it drops it in the middle, and it's obviously really big. So we're going to put it in free transform and then press Command or Control 0 to expand the document out. And there it goes. It reveals everything. There we go. And we'll bring it down to size, and I want to line it up with my subject, so I'm actually going to drop the opacity of this layer just for the sake of visibility. So I'm going to hit 5 on my keyboard, and that will knock it down to 50%. So let's zoom in here, and I can see I'm going to line the glass up right about here. Actually, it looks like I got pretty good sizing right the first time. Look at that. So what I'm doing is lining up the edges here. You see these dark edges here to the edge of my subject. It seems to go at just the right place, right there and right there. Very nice. So there's that 100%. So now what I want to do, is I need to mask my subject above this broken glass area. So what I'm going to do is use that glass to trace a selection around my subject here. So I'm going to go ahead and select the layer containing the man on it here. And I'm going to go over here and grab the lasso tool in the toolbar. And what I'm going to do is just trace along this top crack up here, or this broken area that goes along this top here. So I'm going to start on the outside of the subject and just trace along that area. It doesn't have to be super precise. Be as precise as you can. And then just continue that selection all the way around the subject, around his head there. So if you need to make some minor adjustments, you can just go in here and we'll just shift drag to add to the selection there. There we go. Maybe remove a little bit of that area right there just to tighten it up. So the selection is made. I'm going to go ahead and hold down the Option key on the Mac, Alt on PC, and then click the layer mask icon here, and it will mask the subject above that broken glass area. So look at that. Now it's almost starting to look like it is in that kind of compositing the two, and it's looking broken up there. So what I'm going to do now is go and select the layer containing the glass. Remember, we got it at 50%. So let's go first. Go ahead and bring that up to 100%. And what I want to do is invert the values here. The cracks show up really good on the glass against a white background, but we're actually going to be compositing this against a darker subject. So we're just going to go into the image menu, into adjustments, and choose invert. Now it's looking pretty good. Now to composite it with my image, I'm going to use a blend mode. So I'm going to go down to the blend mode menu here and switch this from normal to screen. And there you can see it starting to blend and show me that area nicely. Now what we're going to do with the rest of the glass area is go ahead and put a layer mask on this layer. And we'll just get a good size paintbrush and just come in here and paint away the areas we don't need. Let's get some of these areas here. So all we really need is this area right there. We'll have that part going up. So we don't need any of this area down here. So we'll just paint away these few of these areas here. And now it looks like it's compositing and like it's one piece. Now it's not quite there yet. If I zoom out here, you can see it's kind of getting there. It looks like it's, you know, a regular man standing there, but he's kind of broken up in the glass there. But this area right inside here is actually the inside of the glass, if you remember. And in order to differentiate or give that some depth, we're going to have to make that area a little bit darker. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to grab my lasso selection tool once again, and we are selected on the subject here. I'm going to draw a selection now, tracing along the other crack, the lower one. And we'll just get this area here. And then drag around and finish the selection. So we've had that area selected. What I'm going to do is grab an adjustment layer. We're going to go ahead and add a levels adjustment. And you can see the selection created a layer mask based on that selection. So now I'm just going to go in here and darken that area up. And now it looks like it's kind of more in depth there. Now, here's the other problem. Push that one a little bit so it gets really dark in there. Now, notice it darkened the area outside of that selection as well. So all we need to do is just clip that adjustment layer into that layer underneath it. So I'm just going to hold down the Option key or Alt key if you're on Windows, and notice the little overlapping circles between the layers. You simply click once, and it isolates that selection to only the visible pixels on the layer. And there we have our Broken Man. In fact, that will make a good title for this fake movie. Let's call it Broken Man. Using my all too often Trojan font. There we go. Coming to a theater. A Broken Man. Pretty cool technique. So it's interesting how you can use two images to composite this way to get a very realistic result just by using a few layer masks and a few simple adjustment layers.